Welcome to Music and Spirituality program at Kardec Radio. My name is Joka Daledon from London, UK. So today we're going to be talking about a book by the Spirit André Luiz when he described in two of the chapters the nature of music in the spiritual world. Is in the book The Messengers, in the chapter entitled A Sublime Melody. André Luiz, with some of his friends, spiritual friends in the spiritual world, they are in this, I would say, social gathering with other spirits, some spirits more elevated than others. And there is someone called Cecilia who used to be a musician on earth, in the physical realm. And obviously she is still a musician in the spiritual world. And then she's invited to play an organ or some sort of instrument that resembles the organ in the spiritual world. And she plays a piece by Bach, Toccata and Fugue. And then she's invited to sing a song, and she does. And the song, everyone really gets moved, get touched by the melody. And she as well in tears, because this song reminds her of her husband, who is still in the physical world and is still making loads of mistakes in the spiritual world, so she has no access to him. So she feels very melancholic and sad. But we see how music can really touch one's life and sentiments. We can see here on earth, but especially in the spiritual world when we don't have a physical body. So the harmonies and the melody of the music touch straight to our soul. And I'm gonna just read a bit when this situation happens. I'm gonna take from when she goes and sings the song. The young woman smiled and turned back to the keyboard, but now she seemed profoundly transfigured. Her beautiful face seemed to reflect a different light coming from a higher place. She began to sing in a mysterious and moving way. The music seemed to come from the depths of her soul, immersing us in sublime emotion. I have tried to recall the words of that wonderful song, but it would be impossible to repeat all of them to incarnate souls. The darkness of midnight cannot portray the splendor of the dawn. However, I have remembered a little of it, and I will record it as faithfully as I can from my imperfect memory. As if encircled by a different brightness in which we ourselves were bathed, Cecilia sang in a velvety and caressing voice. And then André Luiz describes some of the words of the lyrics of the song. And at the end, when she finished singing, when she had sung the last notes, I saw her face washed in tears, as if bathed in pearls of light. Very moved, Mrs. Bacela touched Ismalia's hand lightly and said, "Cecilia has never forgotten him." So that's the mention of the husband that I just said before. And after that, there was someone in this gathering from a higher playing called Ismalia. And then in the next chapter, Ismalia is invited to sing. So here we see the difference between the earthly music, or the music from the physical plane, and the music from the celestial plane, celestial music. And that's the chapter called Sublime Melody. Cecilia was returning from the physical world, so she had still the music from our plane, from the physical plane. But Ismalia, she belongs to a higher realm, so she understands and she performs a more sublime, a more subtle kind of music. I'm gonna just read. In a noble gesture, Aniceto asked Ismalia to perform some musical motif from her higher plane. She didn't have to be asked twice. Showing extreme graciousness, she sat at the organ and spoke pleasantly. The melody is dedicated to our dear Aniceto. Into her heartfelt wonder, she began her extraordinary performance. From the very first notes, something uplifted me to the sublime. We were silent, enwrapped in ecstasy. The melody, woven in mysterious beauty, flooded our spirits with torrents of divine harmony. A range of the gentlest vibrations had begun entering my heart, when I was suddenly surprised by a completely unexpected impression. With indefinable wonder, I noticed that Alfredo's wife was not singing per se. Instead, the sweet music was actually a prayer that bordered on the sublime, a prayer that I couldn't hear with my ears, but which I was receiving fully in my soul through subtle vibrations. It was as if the melodious sound were impregnated with the silent and creative word. Word here with capital W. Word, God's word, the divine word. The words of praise reached the depths of my spirit, causing tears of inexplicable emotion. So you see how this wonderful music touched everyone. And interesting enough, music here is being used as a prayer, and touch everyone's emotions. It's interesting to see. Sometimes we think as a prayer as words of asking something or praise something. And here is definitely a different kind of prayer, a musical prayer of praise. How wonderful music and arts can be as a medium of acknowledge of the Creator, of praising of God. So now I would like to pray something on the piano. This is called the Concerto of Aragonés. I hope you enjoy it.